Today, I want to talk about women and the things that can happen to them when they reach a point in their lives where they feel stuck. In the event that you are unfamiliar with the phrase, hitting the wall describes the point in the healing process at which a woman's wound is at its most stable and presents the best appearance. As she draws closer, a couple of alterations are made to the footwear that she is wearing. In spite of the fact that most women don't believe they will hit the wall until they are far into their 40s, it typically occurs to them anywhere between the ages of 10 and 30. The majority of women who are now entering their 30s have spent more than 20 years honing their abilities to attract the attention of males. Males in their early to middle 20s make up this group. Men ranging in age from their 20s to their 60s and hailing from a variety of countries and socioeconomic conditions. Despite having been shown affection throughout their entire lives, several different women have confided in me that they were sexually raped by older men when they were 25 years old. The older guys were in their 50s. They were being pleaded with by a group of young men of high school age. According to an old proverb, a wound can serve as a gateway to brand new experiences. As a consequence of this, males of all ages are more likely to show interest in young women in their 20s. When a person is injured, it is as if their world opens up for them. A person's appearance undergoes a discernible shift between the ages of 30 and 35, making it impossible for people in their teens, their 20s, and even men in their 30s to recognize them. This phenomenon is known as the age change. Because of this, they come across as being quite a little younger than they actually are. Due to the fact that they are concerned with the sexual development of preteen and teenage girls, women under the age of 35 who are reporting that men their own age do not treat them with respect are more likely to be younger women. The reality is that a man in his 30s who has a secure career, a great automobile, and plenty of cash on hand can easily court a younger and more attractive woman who is in her 20s. This is despite the fact that many 20-something women claim that guys their age aren't interested in dating them. Despite the fact that a great number of women in their 20s and 30s bemoan the lack of interest that men have in dating them, this is the reality. The majority of guys do not feel secure enough to pop the question until they have been dating their significant other for at least 2 years. Therefore, if a man is going to be married, it is quite likely that he will marry a woman who is at least 35 years old and whom he met in a public place such as a bar. She will be 38 years old when she is finished with the treatment, which indicates that she will not have nearly as many reproductive years remaining as a woman in her early 30s would have if she had started the treatment when she was younger. The majority of guys in their 40s and 50s who may have been interested in you but are now settled down with families and are therefore no longer available to date are in that age range. If they are men and they have previously been married but their marriage has ended in divorce, they may be open to the idea of beginning a new family, and they may even have children from a previous marriage. Some of the women who are in their mid-30s with whom I am familiar find it repugnant to think that ordinarily decent women waste their 20s flying from one affair to the next. I am familiar with some of these ladies. These women are adamant that the only men who find them attractive are those above the age of 30, and they simply cannot see why any younger man would find them attractive. What took place is of little relevance to them at this point in time. They had not prepared themselves to be placed in such a vulnerable situation, seeing as how the events that transpired were not supposed to transpire in the manner in which they did. Many women find it difficult to understand that the conventional hierarchy of relationships has been inverted, therefore the fact that men now choose their partners before women is uncomfortable to them. Men have more freedom of choice and access to a greater variety of possibilities than women have. This gives men an advantage. The anguish that women feel when their partners walk out on them is of such a magnitude that the entire male population of the globe, or even just a few of males who have been severely harmed by women, may be able to comprehend it. Women who are pregnant in their 30s and birth babies who are unwell risk the same dismal consequences as pregnant women who are in their 20s. They have every right to start a family because it is a goal that makes perfect sense for them, and they are not prevented from doing so. I know of a man who became a parent 3 times in the span of 3 years to 3 different women, all of whom, in his view, were employing some form of birth control when they became pregnant. He did this within 3 years. He is currently cohabitating with the woman who is the mother of his 3rd child, and he is the one who is responsible for paying payments toward child support for 2 of his other children. The decision to put off having children is one that is shared by many of my female friends who are in serious partnerships about the same age as me and who are in their mid-30s. Women in their 30s and 40s who frequently socialize in large groups of 10 to 15 individuals frequently come to the conclusion that they do not want to establish families in order to preserve their ability to continue having a wonderful time. Mothers continue to experience the same level of social exclusion as they had in their 20s. My stomach is turning just thinking about Cougar Club Go girls searching out men who are 5 years younger than they are. It makes me want to throw up. Numerous interactions with young men in their 20s who are solely interested in having one-night stands have a detrimental effect on the value and sense of self-worth of a great number of young women. To make a long story short, nobody wants the party to go for any longer than it absolutely needs to, therefore it will probably end soon. The fact that many women in their early to mid-40s are just beginning to enter their middle years is the second obstacle that stands in the way of these women successfully attracting younger men to themselves. When many people reach this age, they come to the realization that it is difficult for them to attract anyone older than 20. Men who are primarily interested in sexual fulfillment have a greater propensity to experience weight gain and the onset of menopause at the same time as Asian and Black women, who age more slowly than white women yet experience a decline in attractiveness at the same time. This holds true not only for white women but also for Black and Asian women. A good number of them give off the impression of having aged several decades more quickly than they actually have done so. There is a possibility that an Asian woman in her 38th or 39th year will begin to exhibit indications of aging and take on the appearance of a middle-aged woman. To this point, that is all I have observed. Nevertheless, it is possible that I have overlooked a wall that was constructed 10 years ago. My experience as a white male who has matured has led me to the conclusion that women over the age of 40 mature at a considerably quicker rate than teenage boys. This is the case due to the fact that, historically speaking, the individuals of our species had a better chance of surviving if they were self-sufficient from a young age onward. Women have always had an advantage over men in terms of their reproductive capabilities due to the genetic makeup of their bodies. A man's superior intelligence, work ethic, and financial security, as well as his superior access to resources and financial means, make him more desirable to women. Women also find men more attractive because of their superior access to resources and financial means. Men that deserve respect will inevitably get older. A focal point on females the moment the Big Bang takes place, all of the poker chips are immediately distributed to the women. The reason for this is that boys are more likely to be attracted to other guys because of their enhanced reproductive capabilities. As a direct consequence of this, the odds are stacked in favor of the women. Consider the following scenario: a man in his 20s and a woman in her 20s are currently participating in a game of poker. One chip from the male is given to the woman who already has 90. When they are both 35 years old, he already possesses 85 of them, while she just has 6 of them. The process of aging is analogous to a game of poker, in which the value of a player's money chips has a significant impact on their position, and in which both players engage in bluffing and other forms of dishonesty to conceal the true nature of their hands. In addition to the possibilities presented by the real world, the majority of the ladies I know have blown their college savings on extravagant vacations and pointless indulgences. This is something that I find really disappointing. There are some people who would rather waste their time going out to eat with their buddies on multiple occasions each week than doing anything else. When they are in their middle 30s, they spend a significant amount of money on things such as makeup and taxi rides. I've had the privilege of having conversations with a few of the world's most devout female religious figures. They have all admitted to me that they secretly wish they could find a wealthy man to come to their rescue, as the majority of the women I know are in over their heads with credit card and school loan debt, and they have all told me that they wish they could find a wealthy man to come to their rescue. After hitting the aging wall early in life, it is normal for men to become more receptive to dating when they are in their mid to late 30s. This is the age range. This is the age group where they are most likely to find romantic partners. Increased number of women in their 20s, the majority of participants in card and poker games are female. Those of my single friends who are actively seeking out potential companions in this current environment hold all of the cards. As men come to the realization that they are free to pursue their interests in any manner they see fit, we are seeing them take the initiative in the dating world and focus on their own enjoyment. As a direct result of the progress that I have been making, they are beginning to understand that boys may advance in any direction that they choose.